What is going on, everybody? Good Friday night to you. It is December 20th. It is the weekend before Christmas. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year's. I'm not sure if we're here next week or not, but whether or not this is our last show of the year or not, happy holidays to everybody. Welcome into Smack Talk here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling Facebook page and the Wrestle Binge by Sportskeeda YouTube channel. Rick Ucchino, the wrestling legend himself, Dutch Mantell, is here. SP3 off for the night. He is enjoying.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth why he's not here.
He's covering Ring of Honor Final Battle at Hammerstein Ballroom.
That's what he said. But
no, he's there. He's sending me photos and videos from the event. He's there. He's there.
Well, not according to the police. Not according to
staff, he's there.
Not according to the police reports. He was arrested for public drunkenness, and they took him in. But I don't blame him for trying to make it seem, plausible and reasonable to you as why he wasn't here.
Oh,
yeah, but I do miss him.
You say that. I haven't gotten a text message from him in a bit. Maybe like the last half hour.
Oh yeah. So
there we go.
We need to watch. Little Sid, he poses like a very healthy picture, like he's follows the laws and all that. But
stand-up citizen type, yeah,
absolutely. And if you delve a little deeper under the surface, all the truth comes out. No, but he is here. He's covering what now? The Final Battle, or what's he covering?
Yeah, Ring of Honor Final Battle at Hammerstein Ballroom. So if
Should
you're
be good.
the setup looks spectacular. It looks absolutely spectacular. It looks great on television. Obviously, I was watching SmackDown tonight for our purposes for this show, but I've been keeping it up with a little bit. Nigel McGuinness wrestled on the show. Danhausen showed back up. Yeah, absolutely. So,
Danhausen was there.
Danhausen showed up.
Hey, they got I don't watch AEW as much as I should, but that Danhausen is they could get him over. Big time.
He was for a while. He hasn't been on TV in a year. They haven't used him on Ring of Honor or AEW in a year. They finally brought him back tonight.
How'd the crowd accept him tonight?
Oh, he got a pop. He got a great pop. So he showed up. He comes out of the ring in his gear, right? And you can it's him because he's got the distinctive look, smaller guy. He's got the tattoos.
Yep.
It's him, but he has like a luchador style mask with his face paint on it, right? Like it's his design. So it's like him mocking like the Sting mask, and then he pulls it off and it's Sting underneath. He has that. He pulls out the luchador mask, and it's him in his face paint, and the crowd absolutely loses it. And then he ducks. He punches he punches Mace in the dick, and he celebrates to the crowd. So he delivers a groin punch after pulling off the mask, and the crowd absolutely popped. Yeah, he's great. He's absolutely hilarious. He's wonderful.
That's very creative. But but a few things like that and get him over, and the kids would love him. They would love him to death. So he'd sell a ton of merchandise if they drew any money, which it drew some people to the matches, which I hear they're having a little trouble doing. But the show could, I don't know. Let's just talk about this one. I don't get paid for talking about AEW.
No, there you go. And we don't get paid to talk about Ring of Honor either, at least on this program. Now, tonight, SmackDown was back at the XL Center in Hartford, Connecticut tonight. This was actually filmed last Friday ahead of Saturday night's main event. So we didn't get much fallout from that show tonight, but there's a lot of other storylines that were mixed in as well. But here's the thing: before we dive into the show, Dutch, before we dive into the show tonight, we have to talk about the news that came out before the show went on the air tonight.
Oh,
there is, if I'm correct on this, let me check on this. There's one SmackDown left this year, which means there is now one SmackDown left that is 2 hours in length, because starting on January 3rd, SmackDown, according to WWE's official website, is moving to 3 hours from 8 until 11 o'clock at night.
Excuse me while I hide my glee.
I was going to add, this is something that's been rumored, rumbling about for a while now. For the longest time, right? Raw on USA Network was 3 hours. The only reason it really dropped down to 2 hours in the past few months is because it was part of a new contract that they extended out. There was a gap in the media rights deals. So Raw was under contract through USA Network through the beginning of October. The Netflix deal didn't start until January. So they did a short 3-month extension, which dropped the show down to 2 hours. We don't know what the length of Raw is going to be on Netflix, but you had to figure a move like this was coming because USA Network, they're going to want to get that third hour of ad revenue with their new TV deal with SmackDown now.
I was going to ask you, so SmackDown is moving to Netflix.
No, Raw is moving to Netflix. SmackDown has already moved to USA Network, so that move is done. It's just the only change is starting on January 3rd, it's going to 3 hours.
What about their little company in Orlando? What's the name of that? NXT?
NXT, that is on the CW. As far as we know, it is staying at 2 hours, and I think that is just fine for those folks down there. So
okay, but SmackDown is going to 3.
Yep.
On USA Network.
Yes. Your reaction, Dutch. How excited are you?
I'll see you guys.
I was going to say, I think for all three of us, I think it's contract renegotiation time as we now have an extra hour in our shift on a Friday night.
You would think, but I'm saying, we ought to do that third hour because I might be asleep by then. We might do a watch along and charge a little extra for that and have the people tune in.
Well, if you remember, there was a point where we did 3 hours of programming a night. We used to go on and cover Rampage as well.
But your age doubled when you were watching that show. Well, remember that?
Yeah. I had a few gray hairs in my mustache after that one, but I feel like the third hour of SmackDown is going to be a little bit more of a marquee hour of programming than a typical Friday night Rampage, which that show is going by the wayside. That show's about, I think, there's one left. There's now one left that's going to be.
What's going by the wayside?
Rampage. Rampage is going away with the new deal with AEW.
Should go away.
Yeah,
should go away and stay away.
It is, yeah. So that show's going.
Quit being so negative.
I'm sorry. So I try not to be. I try not to be negative, but adding a third hour to SmackDown here. Do you think it's necessary? Do you agree with the move? Do you think it'll help or hurt the product overall on a Friday night?
Going to 3 hours.
Yes.
I don't know. I hope the people know. Remember, the third hour on any show is tough. Really, really tough. A football game, even if it's exciting, for 3 hours you're going, God, what? And you keep looking at your watch. When's this thing going to be over? But I don't know if it can help them. Well, but we'll see what they can do. We can see what the creative team comes up with. That's what I'm going to say.
So the one thing that comes off the top of my head that I feel like this is going to be a benefit for.
I tell you what needs to come off the top of your head is that damn Bengals
Hey, they got a pulse, baby. They're still alive. They got a pulse.
Oh, okay. I got it.
We're not done. We're not dead yet. But they just added another championship, the Women's United States Championship, which is around the waist of Chelsea Green. So
who predicted that?
I don't know if you predicted it, but you said it should happen.
That's the same thing.
Is it?
That's the same thing. Yes, it is the same thing.
Is it? Okay. But that was my concern is you have the WWE.
She's a great choice, don't you think?
Yes.
And she'd be a better choice than Meechin or whatever her name is.
I think Meechin's going to be your second or your third United States champion. I cannot argue with the decision to go there. I thought, again, maybe Triple H would go a different direction and use an established champion like Bayley to establish a new championship. But this isn't a world heavyweight title. It's something a bit different. Chelsea has absolutely earned this. And if they let her, if they alter her character work just a little bit, and they let her do more like what she did on Saturday night's main event. That finish to that match that she had with Michin was absolutely spectacular. Did you see her flip over the top and set up for the unprettier, and just they're letting her show off her wrestling chops a little bit more, which I think is going to go a long way for establishing that title.
It was the upside down. She calls it the unprettier. A good finish. Good finish.
Yeah. Very, very strong finish. The crowd
was dangerous looking too.
Yeah, it was great.
You couldn't pay me $100,000 to take that move. Somebody say, "Oh, you're just upside down on my back, and I'm just sitting down with bull crap." Wouldn't be sitting down with me. You'd have. I didn't even make it far enough.
I didn't even make it far enough in wrestling training to take a front bump. Like I took one, and you know what happened? I broke my damn collarbone. That's what I happened. But anyway,
yeah, that was a good finish, and they put it on the right person.
Yeah. So I think my concern was having the WWE Championship, the WWE Women's Championship, the Men's United States title, 2 sets of tag titles, and all that stuff. My concern was, okay, you put it on Chelsea. Now are you going to have the amount of time necessary, the programming necessary to really do something with it instead of just having it be, an accessory around her waist? Now they have an extra hour of programming. They can build the women's mid-card division and really give that the time. Same with Shinsuke Nakamura in the United States Championship, because I think what we've seen over the last couple of years, Dutch, on SmackDown, the way Triple H books his shows, sometimes, he'll start a storyline and then it'll disappear for a couple of weeks because he doesn't have time to get back to it until 3 shows later.
Yes, but at least they have the backstory for it. He just doesn't get away from it and not bring it back. He revisits it because fans do not forget. Now that's why you show the background, and they said, "Oh yeah, that did happen." You may have forgotten about it, but when they re-show the video, now it's back. It's almost like it happened, which is a good way to book. I mean, book to the future, and that's what he's doing. I taught him well when I was there. I had a 10-minute conversation and taught him everything I know.
There you go. That's all you needed.
Yes, all he needs. He had the rest of it.
All right, well, let's dive into the show tonight. One of the final 2-hour episodes. Again, this was a pre-tape show, and it kicks off with the new Bloodline in the ring. Solo Sikoa formally accepting Roman Reigns' challenge for Tribal Combat on the Raw Netflix premiere on January 6th.
That card for that first show was looking good. It's looking pretty good so far. It's Roman versus Solo, right?
Yeah, Roman and Solo and
CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, Ray Ripley,
Liv Morgan, women's world title match.
That's a great lineup already.
That's a PLE.
That's
a PLE they're giving away on. I was going to say free television, but it's not really free television with Netflix anymore. You need a subscription, but I digress. They're loading that up. I mean, if you think about it, really think about it, Seth Rollins and CM Punk was going to be a WrestleMania main event match last year before Punk got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They're now booking that on Monday Night Raw. That's how big they're trying to set up this episode on Netflix, this Netflix debut.
I got another match for him. What about me and you and that damn absent Sid in a Sportskeeda 3-way? That's it.
They wouldn't
I refuse to do the job. I'm not doing it.
They wouldn't book that on NXT Level Up, and they just canceled that show.
So, did they? Oh, all right.
They definitely ain't booking that at all.
We'd fit right in. All right, continue.
And I'm retired anyway. Anywho, but we get Solo Sikoa.
How long was your career?
2 matches.
3 months.
2 matches.
3 months.
2 matches.
Did you take any lessons before you got in the ring?
18 months. Yeah.
You did?
I trained for 18 months with Jimmy Yang. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. I thought you trained for like a month or 2.
No, a year and a half. And I was going to take independent bookings too. I screwed up my back. So that's what happens when you're a fat white guy who starts training at age 33. shit's gonna go wrong. Yeah, that's
That's a little too old to start training.
Yeah. I couldn't pull the DDP. He started in his 30s. I couldn't do the same. I just couldn't do the same. But anywho, back to the show. We had Solo Sikoa promising he's going to walk into the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles as the tribal chief. He's going to be leaving as the tribal chief. And before he can really finish his thought here, we get Drew McIntyre's music to hit. And this got a little interesting here because we get Drew coming down. He says, well, first off, he asks Solo if he likes what he did to Sammy, if he likes what he did to Jay and Jimmy Uso. And then he asks Solo if he lays awake at night wondering when the Scottish Warrior is going to be coming for him, for costing him the WWE Championship at Clash at the Castle. And I believe this was 2 years ago now that happened at this point. So again, this is Triple H not forgetting history. And this bloodline story, it is stretched so much now, and it's got its fingers just ingrained in everything. There's a little chapter you can always go back and set things up.
How many are in that range of the Samoans? How many are there in WWE now? 10?
Something like that. Yeah.
Nia Jax is one too, right?
Yeah. You could throw Naomi in there too because she's married to Jimmy. I mean,
half their company is our relatives of each other.
They're relatives, and you know what? That whole family has about, I'd say, 45% of the story going on in WWE right now because the branch, like I said, the branches are just so fully ingrained everywhere. If you look at Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, the two antagonists on this show tonight outside of Solo Sikoa, their entire turn was caused by the Bloodline saga and everything that has been going on here. And Drew McIntyre, to his credit, said, look, I'm torn about what to do right now because he's got his hit list. All right. He is going after, he wants to take out the Bloodline completely, starting with the OGs. But at the same time, he realizes that Solo and him kind of have the same goal right now. They both want to take out Roman Reigns. So Drew McIntyre proposes, hey, look, I'm going to let you settle your business with Roman. And then afterwards, we can settle our business. What did you think of the opening segment here, Dutch?
Oh, I thought it was good. And sometimes when you open with that, people say, it's more of the same. But when Drew showed up, I didn't expect him to show up. That's what you're not expecting. And that's what keeps you saying, okay, what are they going to do with this? And it was well set up and well done. And then it worked right into a 6-man, which was good. I enjoyed that too. See, this is one of the few shows that I've actually watched from beginning to end. And Riju, I'm sending that to you. But because usually what I do is I tape it, and a lot of it is filler, and you could just run through it. So, but I watched this. It was the first match was entertaining, and it kept me not glued to the TV, but it kept me interested to what was going to come up later on. Good match too.
So I want to ask you about Drew McIntyre, right? Because there were some reports on this channel, Backstage Pass, by the way, that Drew is going to be one of the primary focuses for WWE in 2025. They believe if he's not there already, he is going to be one of the upper echelon main event acts in WWE. Do you buy into Drew McIntyre that much with the performances he's been putting together the last year plus?
Oh, I think what he's done lately qualifies him to do that. But of course, that depends on the quality of the story and what they follow it up with. Hey, you can be over and they do the wrong thing, and you can just all of a sudden you drop out of the sky.
Yep.
That's why those guys watch what they're doing so much, because the wrong move at the wrong time kills any momentum that you have. So, but I think he was if they put some emphasis behind him, put the push behind him, as they say inside the business, I think he can be an upper echelon player. You like that word, upper echelon? That's the first time I've ever used that anyway.
Oh, really?
But I think he and you heard it right here. I think he can be a major player.
Yeah, look, this is something that I've spoken to him about. Like, if you give him the right story, something that, using his words, is based in truth, of something that he feels passionately about, that he can really sink his teeth into, you give him lines on a page, he's good. You give him something that he is emotionally invested in, he might be the best storyteller in WWE. And then obviously he has the look, he has the believability, he's a badass, he works great in the ring. Yeah, the man's got everything. And he's an absolute savage in the ring, on the mic, on social media. Yeah, hands down. You could sign me up for Drew McIntyre being a major player. And I do hope he gets to work with John Cena at some point this year.
What 3-man tag team or 3-man, this is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
What did they have him in?
3MB, the 3-man air band with him, Heath Slater, and Jinder Mahal.
Oh yeah, that was right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That didn't work out for him.
Well,
but he got him in there and got him moving.
There's one thing that really kind of came out of that group. There's one thing that came out of it, and that was his finisher. You ever heard that story?
No.
Okay. So part of his
ask me, do I want to hear it?
Well, it's kind of funny. So yeah, I think you do. So
okay.
As part of that group, their gimmick, them being rock stars and they're doing the air band stuff and all that stuff. His get up to the ring was wearing really, really tight leather pants. So there was one segment one night where he went to deliver a big boot to somebody and his leather pants were so tight that basically his other leg came up off of the ground and he did like this makeshift Claymore. That was like accidentally the first Claymore kick that he ever landed. And I think he ended up like hurting himself because he landed wrong on it, but he was like, watching it back, he was like, oh, that actually looked kind of cool. Let me see how I can figure out what to do with that. And eventually that evolved into the Claymore kick. So because he was wearing tight leather pants, he developed his finisher.
Yeah, he's kind of tall anyway. He's about 6'5".
Yeah, he's 6'5". Yeah.
Yeah. So and a good athlete.
Yes.
So,
yes, absolutely.
Is that the end of the story? That's
it. That was the end of the story. Yeah. I just thought
okay.
Tight leather pants and
let's applaud it.
Yes,
that was good.
Anyway, so he ends up getting his ass whooped tonight, though, because Jimmy Uso drags him out of the ring, broken toe and all, and wails on him with a crutch. That allows him to get chased off. And then we get the makeshift trio of LA Knight, Andrade, and Apollo Crews rushing the ring to try to get the jump on the Bloodline. Like you said, fun 6-man tag team match, but Shinsuke Nakamura shows up to deliver a Kinshasa to LA Knight. That opens the door for Solo Sikoa to drop Crews with the spinning Uranagi and then the Samoan Spike for the win. But you like this triple threat, the 6-man tag match tonight.
Well, first of all, he didn't go too long, and it involved several storylines, which kept me involved in it. See, nothing is worse than watching a wrestling match that just goes over and it just keeps going and guys, wrap it up. It's TV. Let's wrap it up. It's not a house show. Let's wrap it up, and let's go. It went the right amount of time. And I don't know who is timing these matches, but whoever's doing it or who's ever in charge of it is doing the right thing about it. Get it there, get it to where it's moving a little bit, and then wrap it. Let's go.
We had Alex Shelley backstage talking to Byron Saxton. Said that after knowing for Johnny Gargano for nearly 20 years, Gargano finally unveiled his true colors when he low-blowed him and used that to capture the WWE Tag Team titles a few weeks back. Shelley says tonight, though, he'll take care of Gargano alone and challenges him to truly face him one-on-one. We then get a lot of video packages, by the way, folks, if you missed the show tonight. We get the video package recapping Chelsea Green's victory. And then, as somebody pointed out in the chat, I don't know. Hang on, let me find it. It was Benjamin. I don't know if you missed this. Where was KO tonight to explain what happened on Saturday? So again, remember, this show was filmed last Friday ahead of Saturday night's main event. And I actually believe they shot a different angle for the live crowd that didn't air. Because from what I read, there was the
actual drop by Kevin Owens on Cody. It didn't air, right?
Right. Yeah, on Saturday night's main event. But what I'm talking about is this show tonight that was filmed last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
From what I read, they aired another interview with Kevin Owens sitting in his car, and that there was a backstage brawl with him and Cody. Obviously, that was not what aired on the show tonight. So unless they decided to pivot or just did that for the live crowd and then film what they shot tonight separately with Kevin Owens with the Winged Eagle title, But yeah, this was the first time tonight we saw the footage televised from what happened at Saturday night's main event with KO dropping him with the package pile driver.
I'm watching that when he did that. What's this called? What is the
package pile driver?
My God. I mean, you can take the tape, you speed it up, you can slow it down, you can just move it increment by increment, and it looked like he killed him.
Yeah. And
that's why the people bought into it, that he was legitimately hurt. Now, if I saw that, I said, isn't that can't be? I mean, there was actually no room between the top of the head and the mat. It looked like he'd have ripped him in two, which is how you get people to, I've talked about that little 10% there. Is it or is it not?
Yeah.
There you'd have to say, I think he really got hurt. And when they stretchered him out and took him to the hospital, did he spend a night in the hospital?
That's what they said, yeah.
Well, but if you saw it, you'd have to say, I think he ripped him in two. So it was a very, very, that's probably the best move I've seen in the last couple of years, that, believing that somebody was devastated or cut in half by a move.
Yeah, and it was executed to perfection. It was very, very smooth. It looked as though, and this is just my eyes judging, it looked as though KO delivered it as safely as one could. He's got a great reputation in the ring. The whole segment was executed to perfection. So WWE airs the footage of that attack, and it's interwoven with KO talking about it. He.
And what did KO end up with? What was the gist of his interview?
So basically, he said what happened to Cody at Saturday night's main event was not his fault. There are many other people
because he moved.
Because he got screwed out of the WWE Championship at Saturday night's main event. He hit the stunner on Cody Rhodes. The referee was knocked out. Granted, it was KO who threw Cody into the referee and knocked out Charles Robinson. But he had Cody beat with the stunner. Referee wasn't there to make the count, so obviously KO feels as though there is a conspiracy working against him. And that is why he stole the Winged Eagle Championship, because he feels he deserves it. He's walking around calling himself the true WWE champion.
And he has a point. You could take a good lawyer. He could make a point. That's how he felt, and this is what led up to it. See, what he's saying is, a fan listening to this and say, well, and I just said it, he has a point in that, feeling that he had. And remember this, I was told this many, many years ago by an old-time wrestler. He says, a great heel is always the victim. Always. And when you stick to that, people say, shut. Eventually, they get mad at you for even feeling like that, even when you do have a point.
Right.
So, and he had a point, and I think he's explaining this. Whoever, I don't think he's doing it, but whoever is writing this for him is making him a great heel.
I mean, I would not be, in all honesty, I would not be surprised if KO has a heavy hand in this, to be completely honest. Look, he has had a long list of grievances over the last few months that he's been airing out. And he said, look, there's only so far that a man can be pushed before he snaps. But he says the good news is, Dutch, he hasn't snapped yet.
That's good.
He has put Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes on the shelf with neck and spine injuries, and he says, I ain't snapped yet. Now, this could always get worse. So what happens next is on you guys for effing with me. What the hell could be next here, Dutch Mantell?
So if you think back when he did how long has it been since Randy Orton has been hurt? A month at least or more?
Man, what did that happened? They were supposed to wrestle, I think, in Saudi Arabia. Is that where that happened? It's been a minute. I think it was back in October.
Oh, yeah, more 2 months. But so when they came up with this whole thing for Kevin Owens, that's what a good booker does, or a good creative team does. does. They go to the recent past and pull it back. Now he's bringing up, and remember he said on camera one time during that match, "Hey Randy, how you doing?" Or when he said something to him, he said hello to Randy, which all of a sudden in your head you're thinking, okay, he hadn't forgotten him, and now when he comes back, I mean, 2 months out is a pretty long time for a creative team but that's under Triple H, so he's demanding this and he's getting it. It's working.
So it makes me wonder, right? Like what's the end game with Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes now at this point?
It never ends because Triple H said, I don't see a purpose of wrapping it up anyway. You can go to it looks like a blow off point, and they'll put the good guy over, the baby face over, and then 3 weeks later they restart it again because the heel's always the victim, and he can come back to get even.
So
if they want to go that far.
Do you think there's enough juice with this KO? Because they really are kind of just really getting started over the last month, right? So do you think there's enough juice to carry this rivalry, especially when you interject Randy at a later date, to carry that all the way through WrestleMania? Because I
think so because with the Randy thing, and remember Randy had heat with a little bit of dissension with Cody too.
They kept teasing every time Cody and he were in the room, he would make eye contact with that WWE Championship belt. Yes.
And that hasn't been forgotten, and it's not fallen upon deaf ears because everybody knows that that's the fallback, or they could go to it at any time.
And Randy, when he comes back, could blame Cody for him winding up in the situation that he wound himself up in because Randy was there defending his friend.
They've opened all these doors, and all of them are just wide open to go through. And they're probably, say they open 4 doors. Well, 3 of them will work. So they got an extra one to play with. I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No, it does. This is what I was talking about.
A lot of ways to work around this, and everyone will work.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about last week, where I didn't actually do it like I was supposed to. I had a busy week, but I said I could come up with a couple of different WrestleMania cards, and they would all be really, really strong. And especially now with reports this week that WWE is strongly considering CM Punk and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania in Las Vegas next year. After the huge numbers that they did at Survivor Series this year.
Okay. Just by you saying those 2 names has magic behind it. You're already saying, because they haven't worn it out and haven't even previewed it that much.
No.
But when you say that,
so much
it has appeal to it. So, and like I'm saying, this doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long, detailed plan. And even if it's not detailed, it looks like it's detailed just in its construction.
Yeah.
And that's what they do. They build this, and then they got all these things to go to. So they should never be strapped, or what are they going to be the main event?
No. And you got the option of including Seth Rollins in that match if you want to. You have the option of doing a triple threat with KO, Randy, and Cody at Mania, or you could just do Randy and Cody at that point if you want to do a one-on-one type matchup. There's a lot of different options they could do. And then, you know what? It's great that they have those options, because if The Rock shows up in January and says, hey, you know what? I want to wrestle after all, they got to blow the entire card up and go with their backup plan.
And they could put him in 6 weeks before WrestleMania, and it would still fit. As long as they can fit somebody like The Rock in with 2 months to go, they got it.
Oh,
and now they can get all their advertising out there.
I almost feel like you have to have those contingency plans in place. With The Rock kind of having that special little I say when I show up, and if I come at you 8 weeks out and say, hey, I want to wrestle at WrestleMania, so let's figure out how to put me in here, and this is what I want to do. I almost feel like you have to have those backup plans already in place, or otherwise you're just planning to fail at that point.
Well, I don't know what really that means, but if The Rock anywhere on that card is going to be a sellout just by putting him on the card, I don't care, as long as it's a top guy that he's working with and he does a little bit of an angle with it. Yeah. but it has to be an angle that means something. So,
yeah,
I would like to see Rock talking to the head of Endeavor in a room and somebody catch him. Like, you son of a bitch.
Well, I think
You
they're really good
bastard.
friends. So yeah,
Well,
I don't think it would be much of a heated conversation. We do have a
no.
super chat I want to get to here from Roland Curtis. Always appreciate it. He says WWE left Hogan's image off of Saturday Night Main Event intro. Thoughts on that? Frankly, I did not notice.
Frankly, I didn't either.
I wish I could give you a deeper insight on that, Roland, but I didn't notice, to be completely.
And Roland, what we want to know is what made you think about it. Now send us $5 and we'll answer your next question.
Sorry,
we're in this to make money too, Roland. You know what I'm talking about. But
I wish I could give you a deeper answer. I didn't notice.
I think they're done with Hulk. I really am. And
I mean, he's on a Legends deal. He's on a Legends deal.
I don't mean nothing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, they still have him in a bunch of other stuff and highlights and things like that. I don't know why. If it was an omission, I don't think there was.
Isn't he on the billboard before SmackDown or Raw?
Yeah,
when they bring all those big, so
they use them all the time in different kinds of video archives and highlights and stuff like that. So I don't.
But he wasn't there. So
yeah,
but I didn't miss it.
If it was an omission, I don't think there was any kind of intent or meaning.
That's 40 years ago. You know, when he was going through his highlights, most of the people watching, SmackDown and Raw, they weren't even born.
Can you tell me what the first ever main event of Saturday Night's main event was?
I couldn't tell you.
It was Hulk Hogan and Cowboy Bob Orton for the WWE.
Don't ask me that because I don't know anything. I remember stuff, but I couldn't tell you. Now, the guy who chose not to join us tonight said by playing hooky, he would know that.
He would. He 100% would, for sure. We had Braun.
Match was good. Continue.
Yeah, we had Braun Strowman as a guest on the Grayson Waller Effect. He was dressed up as Santa, passed out some free swag to the audience on his way down to the ring. Grayson Waller said it was nice of Strowman to help all the poor people in Hartford that night. He then goes on to pitch a Brains and Braun partnership between Strowman and A-Town Down Under. That pitch did not go over very, very well. And
I like when Strowman reached in his bag for gifts for them, and he didn't have anything. He had thrown it all away. I got that. But hey, when I first saw this, I went, "Oh my God!"
Anytime somebody's dressed as Santa, I just go, "This is going to be a throwaway segment." Like that's just in my mind. That's how I'm ingrained. I'm just like, "This is."
But I was surprised. I was
too. I was genuinely surprised as well. We get Carmelo Hayes, who interrupts. Remember last week, Braun Strowman was introduced as the new member of the SmackDown roster, and he was the surprise opponent for Carmelo Hayes and pretty much squashed Carmelo. So Melo comes down and says, "Hey, look, he lost last week because he wasn't ready. He called Strowman and I'm quoting him here, big, ugly, dumb Santa Claus bitch."
Oh, yeah, I popped.
He says he may lose, but he'll never quit, and he challenged Strowman to a rematch. And that's when Braun starts destroying a very expensive new set that Grayson Waller had debuted tonight to clear out the ring for that matchup. Now, this match, a lot similar to what last week's match was, but what I liked about this was Hayes came in there with a plan tonight. He knew chances of him getting Strowman's shoulders to the mat or getting him to submit slim to none. So what does he do? He baits him into fighting outside of the ring. Strowman not paying attention to the referee's count. Melo winds up back in the ring long enough at just the right time for the referee to hit the 10 count. So Braun gets counted out, which gives Melo the victory, Dutch.
Oh, that's great. Hey, I was watching Carmelo. He is very good.
Yes.
He's very good. He knew he was working with a bigger opponent. He put over his size and strength. Like when he pushed off that time, he sailed up in the air. Bam. It was like he threw him. And the finish surprised me. I thought, okay, I'm sitting there. And I'm looking at it like a fan, which I still am. But I'm saying, they're going to beat this Carmelo kid again.
Yeah.
And then I saw him come out as Santa Claus, and I went, "Oh my God, are we back to this now, please?" But it worked, and even the Grayson Waller and his partner, they played just a great background, and all of a sudden they faded from the scene. You didn't even know what that was, and it was a good match. And when the finish came, I went, "Damn good finish." Damn good, because it had to be accepted, because
and you don't say that about a count out victory very often.
No. And he says, "A dumbass," what did he call? Fat bitch.
And
okay.
That was good. He didn't call him fat. He didn't call him fat. I got the quote here. Let me find it. He called him, and I quote, "a big, ugly, dumb Santa Claus bitch."
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. And then all of a sudden it ended, and I said, "Well, okay." They got out of there without, Carmelo getting his butt kicked again or whatever. But we go to the back after the break.
Yeah. I thought this was the best part. I thought this was the best part.
Was. And
we
all of a sudden,
we see Melo running away. He bursts through Legado del Fantasma, and then he stops, turns around.
And everything. I'm thinking, okay, is he going to start something with these guys now? But no, he went through them. Then he went to the other.
Together. He pushes them together like they're a set of double French doors, and then closes them, runs off. Strowman comes through, and he's like, "Where did Carmelo go?" And then there's literally one direction that he could go. So the fact that he's asking him what direction he went in is just like, okay, what are we doing here? But then you get Santos saying, "I ain't no snitch." And then all he has to do is look at Angel and go, "What direction did he go?" And he's like, "They went that way." He went that way immediately. That way is where he went. He starts running. He runs into Pretty Deadly. They're like, "Hey, be in our musical."
And they're keeping Pretty Deadly on the show just for standing there advertising. What are they advertising?
Pretty Deadly, the musical that we're never
going
to see. But we're going to hear about it for 3 damn years.
Hey, I think we could see a musical.
Why not?
I want to see it.
They better look, do a cinematic video package of Pretty Deadly the musical. It could be 5 minutes. You could air it on a major stage, on a major show. You've been building to it. There's got to be a payoff there. I don't want to see it disappear. But Strowman ends up with Pretty Deadly. You can put Strowman in the video package too. Like they could actually coerce him to finally do it, right? So you do all that. Braun's back there, and then all of a sudden Melo hits him in the back with the back of the knee with the chair. Smacks him over his back.
Did he hit him? Did he hit him with that chair?
Yes, he did.
I said, "My God, he brought the smoke with that one."
And the best part of this for me, so again, Melo looks incredibly smart, comes off looking brilliant,
and still running after he was down.
And for good reason, because 30 seconds later, Strowman stands up like the Hulk in Avengers after he just got hit by a car, grunts, and then just is even more pissed off and just soldiers on after him. And I'm like, that is what Strowman is to a T. That's perfect. That is the exact character that got this man over years ago. They don't play him off like he's some brilliant guy, but he is a big, strong, as Pat McAfee would say, son of a bitch, and he is fun to watch when he is wrecking things. This has these two work well with one another. Carmelo,
they do.
They're there was a couple yang combination.
There was a couple of missed moves in there, but that's okay. They don't. Braun Strowman don't need to look like he's a damn master wrestler anyway. Remember when he went up and he was going to take him over with the leg flip or whatever he was going to do?
Oh, yeah, the Hurricane Rana, yeah. But he just face planted, right?
That's good. That
looked more devastating than seeing Strowman hurl his big ass over his head and do a roll. I'd rather see him get face planted.
He was real looking. I think some of these botches are good because all of a sudden not every one of them needs to work. Anyway, but I like the match and I like the ending to it and the follow through.
Yeah, for sure. Ozzy throwing in a super chat. Appreciate you, Ozzy. Says, what do we think about Becky doing the new Star Trek series Starfleet Academy? I think it's great for her. I think it's great for Becky Lynch fans. This is the transition that I think a lot of us have been hoping for a while. She's a great actress. She's had Hollywood written all over her for a while. I think this is a project that she can do in her spare time. That's going to allow her to still wrestle whenever she decides she wants to come back. A lot of rumors that she's going to be back ahead of the Royal Rumble, possibly as soon as the Raw Netflix premiere on January 6th. And I think it's great for WWE, Dutch, too, because
I do too.
The more you can put your stars and do the crossover events and promote these things. This is why this drove me nuts. It drove me nuts when Sasha Banks was in WWE. Well, she's on The Mandalorian, and they don't even mention it.
It drove you nuts?
It does.
Well, you didn't drive but a block, so you didn't have far to drive.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, but see, and that's what WWE does so well, is they do make stars.
Yes.
They make stars that they're recognizable to the general public. So when a movie gets, some people know who they are. They don't have to go through all these acting lessons and this, that, and the other. People know who they are, which helps their video sales and their live theater sales, whatever their platform they're on. But people know who these guys are, and I mean, it's a win-win situation for WWE talent.
And you look at guys like Cena, Rock, Batista. They've opened the doors for a lot of other wrestlers to get acting gigs, because it's like all of a sudden it's clued in Hollywood that all these guys, they're actors. Yeah. They're actors.
No kidding. Except for me, I always felt it in my heart, and I dug down deep. And
it was still real to you, brother. Yeah, I know.
And it's still real to me, especially some of those chair shots I've gotten. Let me tell you who hit me with the heaviest chair shot I ever had.
No.
Tommy Dreamer.
Okay.
We was in this brawl in Memphis, and it was in its dying days, and we had, I don't know, 300-400 people in a little damn flea market, because they had already left the damn Mid-South Coliseum. He got a chair and went to hit me, and I wasn't used to the ECW style.
Oh,
he hit me so friggin' hard. I swear to God. I thought I owed him money. So then we worked around a little bit, and I poked him in the eye, and I said, stand right there. And I hit him, not as hard as I could, but pretty damn hard. And you know what he said? Nothing. He just kept working. I said, well, damn. I said, I'm glad I didn't go to ECW now, because hell, I wouldn't have made it through. So, and I had a good match with him other than that, because he works my style anyway. But that chair, I said, I will never, ever open up for him again. Because he damn near, I thought he just rattled my brains, what little bit I had left.
So you thought you were giving a receipt, and he's just like, just another day.
No, he thought that was right. I thought I was going to give him a receipt, and he said, okay. He didn't say nothing. Like, well, that's okay. Let's go. So now, if he even looked at a chair again, I'd kick that. I'd throw it out of the way. Oh, and he come back to the dressing room. He said, thank you, brother. Thank you. And I'm going like that. Yeah, thank you too, man. I'm up there selling my damn head.
Right. You're trying to figure out which Tommy Dreamer you need to look at.
Oh, yeah. So I couldn't get mad at him. I said, if he can hit me with a chair and he's not mad, how much could he do if he gets a little pissed off? He knocked my head off. So I continue.
We got Johnny saying Dutch and Vince Russo need to do a review together. Dutch is so positive and Russo is so negative. It would be fireworks. Johnny, you're catching Dutch on a good day. All right. He's never always this positive. Maybe it's because Sid's not here. Is that why you're so positive today?
Probably. No, but it's Christmas. And what is the mood at Christmas? It's joy and happiness, and let's get together and let's all hug, and then when January gets here, we can all say, I hate that bastard. I wish that I saw him right now, I'd punch him right in the mouth, But hey,
why wait till January? That's December 26th. What are you talking about? That's why they call it Boxing Day, right? Anyway, sorry, bad joke.
Isn't that the day after Christmas?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And what is Boxing Day supposed to be? You box all your stuff up, or you get rid of it, or What
I
is
don't
it?
know. I'm not Canadian. I don't know.
It's English. It's English.
Isn't it
That's where
Canadian too, though?
probably can be, but
Yeah.
it's a. I think, unless I'm wrong, I think it's an English tradition. That's what
Okay.
I'm
You know
thinking.
more than me. I know
Okay.
nothing. I know absolutely nothing. We had Johnny Gargano defeat Alex Shelley after he rolled through a top rope crossbody, grabbed Shelley's tights for extra leverage on the cradle and got the 3 count. This was I got to feel like this was a nice moment for the two of these guys. It was a mentoree kind of matchup here tonight. Gargano and Shelley going back 20 years. Obviously on screen, they hate each other, but I thought this was a good matchup tonight. They obviously have a lot of chemistry with one another. Tommaso Ciampa did get involved in this when he said he wasn't going to get involved with this, but shocker,
Okay,
he lied.
It's like telling a wrestling fan. He said, "Okay, I'll stay here." Now that tells a wrestling fan, well, hell, he's going to be out there, and Chris Sabin was going to be out there. So when somebody says, "Don't do it," that's almost like saying, do it, but it's in disguise,
Right.
and they're going to show up. But they did have a very good match, and again, not too long. When I had written down, they went to the ring at 27 after, and you're thinking like, this is the main event. That's what I thought, and I said, they got 30 minutes to go. What are they going to have these guys do? Run up there to the concession stand a couple of times and get some Cokes and a hot dog and come back. But I think they went about 10, didn't they?
Yeah,
10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was a
They gave ladies about 15 to close the show,
and it was a good finish. Of course, the heel at this point should go over. So we'll see where this goes. And they didn't kill this whole angle with one match that didn't mean nothing. So it's still alive.
Yeah. And you're sinking into Johnny. The story of Johnny is now at by any means necessary, right? He's bought into Tommaso Ciampa's way of thinking. Any way possible, all that matters is getting wins. And that's what he did tonight.
When I first saw Ciampa, I'm thinking, and I saw him in NXT, and I'm thinking, did they have him over in NXT?
What do you mean? Like, was he over with the crowd? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, well, I don't know how much of that crowd watches NXT, but I've watched it very rarely. But when I see him, I'm thinking, how are they going to get this guy over? I'm thinking. But now he's getting over just by the way he looks, the way he works, the way he talks. And I think now the team, I'm thinking at first, I don't see this team getting over. Now, with a little time, a little effort by them, and me watching, I think you may get them over now.
See, so part of the problem, right, is Ciampa came up, if I'm remembering correctly, while Vince was still in charge, and they kind of they put him with the Miz, and he was wearing the Miz's outfits, and it was just like, yeah, it was a really bad first impression. And I think the people who loved him kind of lost interest because they didn't want to see him with the Miz. And I think people who didn't know who he was got a bad first impression because he was basically just the Miz's Bobo for a while, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, and now they were starting to get over a little bit as a tag team DIY, but it wasn't going as quickly as I think they expected it to, or at least to the level that they were over as a tag team in NXT. So they figured, all right, well, if they're not getting over as baby faces, let's see what they can do as heels. And I think it's going to open up to a whole new world of possibilities. As far as
what I can see these two guys doing. The in-car interviews, which I've always loved, and they're doing it with Kevin Owens now.
Yeah.
Put a camera in the car with them driving down the road and just have some of the topics that come up and just have them talk back and forth.
They do that stuff on their own social media channels. Like Johnny has a travel blog that, oh God, yeah. They could put,
Are they good?
Yes. There's so much that they could do with these guys on television that I wish they would just do that, like guerrilla style of shoot. Just whatever Johnny is doing on his social media, just air it on SmackDown. Just air it.
Well, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. If you don't follow him on social media, you don't know that he does that stuff.
Well, I don't hardly follow anybody, but
I know.
But that is a good idea. And if it's entertaining, and I'm sure they know about this in WWE Creative, and they may go to that. Because this is the type of guys you can get over between the both of them talking back and forth. Ciampa's like the leader of the group and tell him, oh, that's stupid. Yeah, but what do you think about this? And, Johnny's the talker, the dreamer of the two. And let's see what they come up with. Sometimes it's better to leave it to the talent to do it and then show them and then let them take it to TV. What are you doing?
What a
What
concept, right? What a concept. You know what I loved about this match? When it finished, a very underrated part of this match. Corey Graves on commentary during this match. Mm-hmm. When he's talking about,
he said something that I forgot now, but maybe the same thing.
Yeah, he's talking about their days where he and Gargano were in the same independent promotion.
Right.
And he was the champion, and he basically played the Nigel McGuinness card with Bryan Danielson, but it was Corey Graves doing it with Johnny Gargano, and it worked. He called him a pipsqueak, and he was like, I'll never respect him, and I'd get in there and I'd kick his ass. I'm scared of Ciampa, but I'd get in there and I'd whoop Johnny Gargano's ass right now. And I'm just sitting here, I'm going, well, now I want to see the damn match. Like now I want to see Corey Graves get back to the ring and wrestle Johnny Gargano.
Didn't he say one time, is it because they let everybody else stay over at his house?
Yeah,
but they wouldn't let him stay. He had to get back and drive back to Pittsburgh or wherever it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
no, that was good.
They said everybody liked Johnny's dad because they just let him stay over at the house, except me. I had to go back.
And see, that's what I think he needs to do more of. Corey Graves needs to do more BS type and make him look. Now he's almost like a straight commentator. I don't want to hear a straight commentator. That's why I like Pat McAfee, because you don't know what you're going to get out of him. He's entertaining to listen to, and it's like listening to JBL or Jesse Ventura. What a fresh voice he was. Yeah. But that voice never got old anyway. But I think they're doing this. I don't think they could do a better job of getting this new regime over than what they're doing right now.
Yeah. So interesting.
See, I'm looking for things to rip on.
Yeah,
they won't give usually it to me. The bastards, they won't give it to me. Yeah. Give me something.
So it's going to be like, I think part of what we heard out of him tonight, he didn't sound like a heel commentator, and he hasn't really sounded like a heel commentator for a few weeks now. I'm wondering if that is part of a subtle transition to him being the babyface color commentator, because in January we're getting a change in commentators. So Cole and McAfee are going to be on Raw. January 3rd, Joe Testator is going to be at a 3-man desk with Corey and Wade Barrett. So if Wade Barrett plays the heel role, Corey will be the babyface color commentator, and I think that's maybe what you're seeing that transition into.
Mm-hmm. I know what I was going to ask you now.
Yeah.
What's this guy's name? Lee Fitting?
Oh, yeah. The production guy.
You read the news about him this week?
I sure did. Yep.
They hired him after a little bit of a dark history at ESPN.
Yes. I read
that. I said, well, damn. So you don't want to talk about it?
I'm just saying, I read the news.
Yeah. 10 years too late.
It's
but
there's a lot of questions that I don't have answers to, which makes it really hard for me to give my opinion on the situation.
But anyway,
obviously, I'll say this: where there is smoke, there is usually fire, and there's a lot of smoke.
You stole that from me.
Did I?
That's what I say. But let me say one thing.
Did you come up with that one?
No, but I heard it a long time ago. So I stole it from somebody else that I didn't give him credit for. But I will say one thing about Lee Fitting. He does a hell of a job.
Yeah.
He does.
There's no doubt about that.
Hell of a job.
So,
I wonder how long before. Well, we may hear something about him. I hope not, but he fits right in. All right, continue.
We got Roland did some homework. Roland did some homework. He said the Saturday Night Main Event intro showed all those dudes. I'm not going to sit there and read them all out loud, but no Hogan.
Oh, okay.
Savage, Andre, Razor, Flair, Piper, Bulldog, Brett, Rude, Richter, Lopper, Mr. T. Mr. T!
Yep.
And no Hulk
What
Hogan.
the hell?
Those sons of bitches.
The bastards.
Again, I think if it
Anyway.
was an omission, I really don't think there's any meaning behind it at all. I really don't.
No.
It doesn't change my mind. I'm sorry, Roland. I just, that's where I'm at. Our main event saw Bianca Belair and Naomi successfully defend the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. Jax got busted open. Jax got a little bit of color in this match. She hit her head on the ring post.
Yeah, I saw this and I went, wait a minute, is she cut there? But they didn't, and I just saw this from a long shot, just when she's laying on the mat. I didn't see it up close. Do you see up close?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, she was opened up a little bit. So
yeah, I don't know if that was like, if that happened on accident, if they did a cut job, if they had planned that or what. I know she got pretty snug on the ring post though.
That was an accident.
Yeah, but hey, she carried it out.
You know why it was you know why I know it's an accident? First of all, it's a female match. It's a ladies match, a girls match. They don't do that. And second of all, who wants to see that anyway? And what woman would agree to do that anyway?
There's a lot. One of the best matches of the last few years was Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, a lights out match, and there was Crimson Mask, all sorts of that. But a different style of match, though, right? You're kind of expecting it in that match. You don't expect it in a normal tag team title match main event type situation. So I understand what you're saying there.
And when they told Tiffany before the match not to come,
yeah, like why don't you go ahead and set up for our celebration? I love, and this is one of the things that I really like. Like Candice LeRae took the pinfall in this match, right? But
how big is that girl? That girl looks like a midget in there. I hate to say the word, but she looks like
standing next to Nia Jax, right? Like,
yeah, but even standing next to the other two, Naomi and Bianca, she still looks small. Yeah, what does she weigh? 110, right? Maybe.
So she's 5'2".
And she is short.
And according to Google, you nailed it on the dot, 110. So, she's 5'2". I mean, she's taller than Alexa Bliss and she's taller than Nikki Cross. So she's not the shortest girl that they got in the locker room, but yeah, in there with Bianca and Naomi and Nia especially. Yeah, she looks smaller comparatively. So obviously there's a role that she plays in this matchup. So and
what did they tell Tiffany? What did they tell Tiffany? Just don't come.
They said, no, you stay in the back and start prepping everything for our celebration, for our party. You know, you got to.
Which, playing off our earlier discussion, now we know she's going to come. And she did.
Yes.
But I will say this finish for a girls' match was very good. I don't know who came up with it, but it was a very good because it flowed 1, 2, 3, and we're out of it.
I like Naomi ahead of this matchup saying, I'm not going to touch the title until I earn it. And then they come back at the end, and it's Naomi who ends up getting the pinfall on Candice to retain the title. So hence she earned it, and they could celebrate it and send the crowd home happy. There's a few things I liked about this. One, it was a better. They're always going to keep doing the teases with Tiffany until she actually does do the Money in the Bank cash in. But I like that they keep integrating it. They keep reminding people. They're not really beating us over the head with it, but you have people in the crowd who are chanting for it. They want it to happen. So they whatever they're doing with her, it's working. They want the treatment that she's getting is working with the crowd. And when she eventually does cash in on Nia, whether it happens Raw 6, January 3rd, Royal Rumble, whatever show they decide to do it on, there's going to be a big pop and the crowd's going to be ecstatic for whenever that does happen. They could do it. Honestly, they could wait till WrestleMania.
No kidding. No need to hurry. They don't need it.
No. Heck, she could beat Carmelo's record for longest person to hold the Money in the Bank briefcase as far as I'm concerned. But so what they're doing with Tiffany is working with the crowd. Candice LeRae is getting the best run that she's had since she came back to the company. That she actually has a story, and she's playing her role to perfection. I love how she's trying to like wedge her way in and steal the affection of Nia Jax, right, and take that role that Tiffany had. So they're like both vying for Nia's affection, and that's working. And then this storyline with Bianca and Naomi and who attacked Jade, and the crowd is still really into Bianca. They're into Naomi. I thought they both worked incredibly well in this matchup. Great finish. The 450 splash. Can we talk about the 450 splash that Bianca hit in this match? Because Nia was way too far away for that move.
No kidding. I thought she almost
still hit that sumbitch. Still hit.
I thought she almost missed it. So
she had to go a little more linear than she did up in the air. And she still hit it. She's insane. Absolutely insane athlete. I think all four of these ladies worked well. Everybody played their role well. I can't be mad with the main event, Dutch. I could nitpick, but I'm not finding much. Not finding much to complain about.
No, the match sort of like I didn't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't really going. You know, during the match. But when they did that finish, the 1, 2, 3, everybody looked good, and they got out of the ring, and then the winner stood tall, and it was good.
Crowd went home happy.
Good way to end it. So good show. I'm gonna have to give this show an 8.5 out of a 10.
I was gonna say we got a comment earlier asking what we would rate it. Let me pull it up.
Oh, we did. I'm gonna give it a 2.
I can't find it now. There we go. Lynn saying, what do y'all grade SmackDown tonight? So you're going 8.5. 8.5. I'm gonna go about a 7, which is about as high as I'll go for a pre-tape show, right? Like, 'cause part of my job is to look to see what happened. So I already knew what was going to happen on the show before I watched it, and I still enjoyed myself. So that's hard to accomplish.
If I'm sitting there watching it as a fan, I enjoyed the show. And the 2 hours didn't just crawl by. It flew by pretty fast. That's when I know that show's pretty good, because all of a sudden it's about over, and, you know, it doesn't seem like an hour and a half has gone by. It seemed more like 45 minutes, but
on a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are you for 3 hours starting on January 3rd?
Oh, I'm ecstatic. Can't you tell? I'm almost jumping out of my seat.
So we'll give you about an 8.5 for that one.
But I think, but I'm going to watch it like everybody else is. I think if they're going to have to reconfigure the show. I think they've learned their lesson about the 3 hours, and let's see what the creative team can decide on that, and let's see if it is better. The only thing we can do is wait and see.
I mean, like I said, I look at talent like Pretty Deadly, for example, who we have not seen in the ring a whole lot, but we have seen them in these quick little backstage segments. I think it's going to open an opportunity for fans to see more of them, for them to get more in-ring time, for them to get more than 30 or 40 seconds, if they're even getting that on TV time. So I think it's going to be good for the talent, and I think they have an abundance of talent that they can call upon to fill that time. And also, I'm pretty sure we're going to get an infusion of NXT talent that's going to be coming up here real soon as well. So, look, I think more TV time is great for the talent, obviously. More opportunity. We'll see if the creative team can come up with enough good shit for them to do, because sometimes that's hard.
I want to see Pretty Deadly, the musical. I'm dying to see that now. They promoted it for a month. So they come up with...
They've been doing it for 6 months.
No, they haven't.
You've been talking about that musical for a while.
Well, they got to do it. They literally have to do it. So anyway,
I would hope.
All right,
pretty good show. What do you got going
on? Well, no. If anybody wants to contact me, Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2 L's at gmail.com, and I sold an old trading card of myself. It was called the All-American card. I forgot what it was called. All-Star card. It's about 40 some odd years old, and I got a price for it that astounds me. So now I'm thinking, like, I got to get back in my closet which is like going back in, like a closed off cave, and I got to find all my stuff. And that wrestling fans, collectors, they'd love to have some of this stuff. So
Dude,
I'm gonna go back and see what I got.
How many old pairs of boots you got?
I don't have any boots. I've already gotten rid of them, but I never had a lot of boots anyway because I just wore them out. I'd keep them like 10 years anyway. But a lot of my stuff that I wore, I wish I just had half the stuff I just threw out, because I'm thinking, who would want this stuff? Who would want it? To me,
Crazy
it was
people.
Crazy. They are crazy people.
Crazy people have money and they buy stuff.
But I do have some stuff, so I'm going to be going back into my closet and see what I can come up with. So if you're interested in my auction coming up, again, contact me at Dirty Dutch Mantell with 2 L's, gmail.com, and I'll clue you right in.
All right, there we go. All right, guys. Everybody have a wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Joyous Boxing Day. I think we'll be back next week. We'll let you know. Take care.